and welcome. Tonight, talks about resumption of oil exploration in Ogoni land in River State trigger protests. Youth wing of the movement for the survival of Ogoni people demand that due process must be followed. Vice President Kashim Shettima challenges governors of states in the northeast to work together and fast-track the development of the area as the Northern Governors Forum condemns perceived neglect of the region in infrastructure development. Commander of the multinational Joint Task Force fighting terrorists in the Lake Chad area urges troops to brace for final onslaught against the insurgents, says Boko Haram are bringing in more arms from Sudan and Libya. And at least 50 people killed after flash floods brought on by heavy rains in central Afghanistan. Dozens of others said to be missing. On sports news tonight, top seed Iga Swiatek dominates Arena Sabalenka 6-2. Begin from River State. This time it's not about the political crisis in the state, but the reactions trailing recent discussions about the possible resumption of oil exploration in Ogoni land. This comes as members of the youth wing of the movement for the survival of Ogoni people are protesting against what they describe as oil resumption through the back door. Our correspondent, Deborah Agbalama, has more in this report.
Some Ogoni youths and leaders carrying placards with various slogans at the memorial square of late environmental activist Ken Saro-Wiwa in Bane, Kana LGA River State. The placards express disapproval of the current negotiation process for resuming oil exploration in the area. Members of the National Youth Council of Ogoni People, NICOP, and other groups support their parent organization, MOSOP. MOSOP argues that the Ogoni representatives at the discussions with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu lack the authority to negotiate. They warn that the Ogoni Bill of Rights must be recognized before talks can proceed.
For equity and for justice to prevail, the federal government should engage the right people, should engage the right leadership. And before oil is extracted in Ogoni, there must be exoneration of them in the base of Saro-Wiwa and 8 others. There must be a total pardon, a total apology to the Ogoni people on the injustice meted of them.
What we are saying is that there should be what we call holistic consultation, where critical stakeholders will be available in any meetings that concern the Ogoni people.
In the past week, various activities indicated divisions within Ogoni regarding oil resumption. A rival group claiming to lead NICOP led a peace walk advocating for oil resumption. This followed a meeting between some Ogoni leaders and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the villa to push for oil exploration.
We felt that we should come on this SOS visit to Mr. President, asking him to come to Ogoni and save our soul. Those of you who are closer to the petroleum industry will know that OML 11 is one of the largest, if not the main largest block in this country. And we have asked the president to unbond it. Ogoni has several fields. And by whatever name, break it down, allow Ogoni people to have their own field, and see how we can use that to better the life of our younger generation.
MOSOP would therefore like to make it clear that the issue of oil resumption in Ogoni has at no point been discussed or deliberated on by the plurality of Ogoni people as organized in 6 kingdoms, 1 national territory, and 1 special unit. Whilst MOSOP is not against oil exploration in our land, it is important, of course, that such conversations are done, taking into cognizance the social dynamics of Ogoni.
Before commencing the march, they visited the paramount ruler of Bane, His Royal Highness Minna John, in late Ken Saro-Wiwa's hometown.
I'm not a factional NICOP president. This is an election that was conducted by all former MOSOP leaders, an election that is all-encompassing, that is most accepted by all true sons and daughters of Ogoni. So as at today, Ogoni has 6 kingdoms and 2 special units making 8. And we are saying that Ogoni has leadership. Ogoni has processes you must go through.
For decades, oil exploration has caused more harm than good to Ogoni land. While cleanup efforts are ongoing, the people demand that any talks on oil resumption should involve all community leaders and major parties. Also important is the call to assent to the Ogoni Bill of Rights to preserve the current peace. Deborah Abalama, Channels Television News.
Let's now go over to the northeast, where the Vice President has challenged governors of the region to strengthen their unity and come up with initiatives that will fast-track the social and economic development of the area. Vice President Kashim Shettima gave this charge as he inaugurated the upgraded government house in Bauchi State. He commended Governor Bala Mohammed for building such an impressive edifice. Our correspondent Hajara Aliu has this report.
Saturday, May 18, 2024, marked a historic moment in the history of Bauchi State as the new government house, reconstructed and upgraded by Governor Bala Mohammed, is inaugurated.
More wisdom for him.
The Vice President leads other dignitaries, including 4 Northeast governors, senators, ministers, former military administrators and civilian governors of the state, and traditional rulers to the new multipurpose square of the government house for the ceremony. Past governors give their impression of the structure behind.
By the commitment of Senator Bala Mohammed to the development of the state, as shown in the developmental strides, I can sense and see love for the people.
I want to express my happiness for the various projects that have been done in the state that have very excellent impact on the lives of the people of this state and those who are passing.
Governor Bala Mohammed, who is in his 2nd term, is delighted at the legacy he is leaving behind, explaining that the new government urban renewal projects.
Our goal is to establish legacy projects capable of sustaining the ambitious developmental needs of our people across time and space. Our vision is to replicate and, if possible, improve on those assets that attract our people to Europe, the Middle East, and Americas.
The Vice President is full of praise for the governor. He has a word for his counterparts in the Northeast.
We are all united by our common heritage of poverty, destitution, and insecurity. More than ever before, this is the time for us to coalesce into a single unit to face the monumental challenges of underdevelopment facing our sub-region.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies.
The Vice President leads other dignitaries to commission the new complex, the new government offices, governor's residence, clinic, mosque, senior staff residence, conference center, and other structures. Hajar, Television News.
Meanwhile, the Northeast Governors Forum has raised concern over what it terms the neglect of the region in infrastructure development, particularly in the area of power supply. They called on the federal government as well as the Transmission Company of Nigeria to prioritize the reconstruction and restoration of these critical projects. This formed part of some of the key resolutions contained in a communique issued and read by the governor of Adamawa State, Amadu Fintiri, at the end of the closed session of the 10th Northeast Governors Forum in Bauchi.
Following the decisions of the forum at the 8th meeting in Maiduguri, the trade fair is an important tool for promoting regional commerce, opening the region to investors, and above all, approved that the decision, once agreed by the forum, can be translated into action. Forum notes with dismay the blackout experienced by the region over the last 1 month and the nonchalant attitude exhibited by the TSN in addressing this issue of national importance for the security and development of the country. Forum is watching keenly the commitment made by this TCN to restore power to all the states of the region by the 27th of May this year. Accordingly, the Forum urged the federal government to direct TCN to take immediate action. The Forum has resolved in the short time to set up a solar power plant that can generate a minimum of 10 megawatts per state. Forum therefore calls on the Minister of Power and indeed the federal government as a matter of urgency to implement the extension of the 330 kVA transmission line from Makodi to Gasol, Jalingo, linking to Adamawa, Gombe, Bauchi, and extension of the 330 kVA line from Kano, Bauchi, Yobe, linking to Borno. In the Northeast, member states resolved to continue to invest in agriculture value chain, and encourage the transformation of subsistence farming into SMEs. Forum reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening the partnership of member states with UNICEF on investing in sustainability for improved water and sanitation coverage, WASH, in the region.
Troops of the multinational Joint Task Force in high spirits and bracing for the final onslaught against insurgents following a visit to them in Borno State by the MJTF Force Commander. Major General Ibrahim Ali believes that the crisis in Niger Republic is responsible for the increased terrorist activities along the border communities on the fringes of Lake Chad, cutting across Cameroon, Niger, Chad, and Nigeria. He has also been speaking on the resolve of the military personnel to ensure the total defeat of the insurgents in the Lake Chad area.
You are all aware of the incident that happened in Niger. That also affected us in the multinational Joint Task Force. While we are trying to sort out that issue, the Boko Haram terrorists were importing more arms and ammunition from Sudan, from Libya, and they were training more of their foot soldiers. And I said, no, we cannot wait and allow them to take us back to where we were some 5, 6, 7 years ago. So we have to clear them before they get strong. So from the intelligence we have been getting, they have been fighting themselves and killing themselves. So we are supposed to follow up and finish them off. In the Chad Basin, that is where they are strong, because we have not been conducting operations into the Lake Chad proper. So all of them run into the Lake Chad and feel they are free. But this time around, it's not going to be like that for them.
Staying in the north, a day after the collapse of a one-story building located at the popular New Market area of Minna, Niger State, manual evacuation continued today at the disaster site. According to the Director General of the Niger State Emergency Management Agency, Mr. Abdullahi Baba Ara, a gadget deployed by the agency confirmed that no one is trapped in the rubble. However, the General Manager of the State Urban Development Board, Mr. Bako Ismail, told Channels Television that the board has given the property owner 24 hours to remove all items before the structure is demolished. In part two, after the break, we turn our attention to the North Central region today in our series, focusing on the issue of flooding against the backdrop of the 2024 rainfall prediction by the Nigeria Meteorological Agency. That's in a moment. Join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television from Lagos. The main news again. Talks about resumption of oil exploration in Ogoniland in River State trigger protests. Youth wing of the movement for the survival of Ogoni people demand that due process must be followed. Vice President Kashim Shettima challenges governors of states in the northeast to work together and fast-track the development of the area as the Northern Governors Forum condemn perceived neglect of the region in infrastructure development. Commander of the multinational joint task force fighting terrorists in the Lake Chad area urges troops to brace for final onslaught against the insurgents, says Boko Haram are bringing in more arms from Sudan and Libya. And at least 50 people killed after flash floods brought on by heavy rains in central Afghanistan. Dozens of others said to be missing. We continue our focus on the issue of flooding, which is a recurrent natural disaster in many parts of the country against the backdrop of the recent forecast by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, for this year's rainfall. The 6 states in the north central, that's Plateau, Nasarawa, Niger, Kwara, Benue, Kogi, as well as the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, are amongst the high-risk flood zones for the year. Our next report looks at the level of preparedness for the flood in some of these states in the north central.
Flooding. This is perhaps one sad reality that many states in Nigeria have continued to grapple with annually, with very devastating consequences whenever it happens. For instance, the floods that happened in 2022 and 2023 combined destroyed several farmlands, displaced over 1.4 million people, and killed an estimated 608 people. Efforts to mitigate the effects of flooding made the National Emergency Management Agency convene a meeting with stakeholders in Abuja to scale up their disaster preparedness for the year 2024.
Some of the recommendations include, but are not limited to, community sensitization and awareness campaign to ensure early desilting and clearing of debris in water bodies to prevent blockages, monitoring of dam discharge and regulations, as well as creating detention dams and the need for subnational entities to mobilize flood-prone communities to clear waterways and channels and to relocate from floodplains.
According to the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, 148 local governments in 31 states will experience severe flooding in Nigeria this year. In the north central, states such as Nasarawa, Plateau, Niger, Benue, Kwara, Kogi, and the Federal Capital Territory are amongst the high-risk zones for the 2024 flood outlook. Some governors in the affected states in the north central are already taking steps to mitigate the impact of the predicted disaster.
Niger State is vulnerable to flood because of the geolocation of the state, because of the hydro assets of the state. The overflow from the dams have been devastating in a long time. A lot of communities have been displaced. In the short term, we will talk to them on advocacy. In the long term and medium term, we are ambitious to build 100,000 houses to relocate communities that have been ravaged by insecurity and natural disaster, and also to relocate or to rebuild some communities that were destroyed by insecurity.
In Plateau State, the government is embarking on the clearing of waterways and demolition of illegal structures along the waterways.
Government frowns on any structure built on a waterway. I'm sure you were with us on Friday when we engaged in the demolition around British.
Flooding has in the last 4 years caused serious devastation across the country. However, the impact for the 2024 outlook can be minimized and casualties avoided if adequate mitigation plans are put in place.
Staying with the environment, the wives of the governors of the 19 northern states are moving to save the region from global warming and other ecological issues by recruiting an army of secondary school girls to plant trees and entrench climate change education. Partnering with agroclimatic resilience in semi-arid landscapes, they believe that catching these girls early at the government girls' mega college Doma, Gombe State will add to their efforts of saving the environment.
Gombe State in northeast Nigeria is described as the gully erosion capital of the north, with over 200 active gullies dotting its landscape. It is estimated that over 400,000 people live along the gully corridors in Gombe State, living in constant fear of their lives and property. Saving the environment was one of the core mandates of the Inuwa Yahya administration when it first came into power in 2019. With the governor leading the planting of 1 million trees every year for 4 years through a flagship program called Gombe Goes Green. It's a model the 19 Northern State Governors' Wives Forum is replicating in secondary schools within the north, encouraging girls to drive the much-needed green revolution seen in Gombe State.
It's very easy to take care of trees. You only water them. What do you do to trees? It's God Almighty that takes care of them. And we pray all the trees will grow and they blossom and they produce fruits so that some people will have food from it, whether you're around or not, in many years to come. Whoever takes from it, you have some reward for it.
The Agroclimate Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscapes, a joint project of the state and World Bank, is a major partner in efforts to reclaim the worn-out environment in Gombe State, as representatives indicate that this strongly resonates with Acresol's objectives.
Gombe State, being one of the northern Nigerian states, before the coming of His Excellency Muhammadu Yahya, literature indicated that it's one of the frontline or corridor states of desert encroachment. But glory be to Almighty, with the support He has been giving us as a project since the inception of His administration, and with the flagship project He initiated, Tag Gombe Goes Green, a lot of successes have been recorded in that regard. You recall that particular 3G project has kept promised of planting not less than 1 million trees per annum. So I'm happy to inform you a lot has been done in that regard. A lot of shelter belts, mini woodlot plantation, roadside plantation, to change the narrative. And glory be to Almighty now, with the support of Acresol and other related partners that are working in the area of tree planting, we are today being among the states that cannot be endangered much with desert encroachment.
While sharing her excitement over the exemplary gesture displayed by the Northern Governor's wives, the Commissioner for Education says her ministry has since introduced climate change education in secondary schools.
These girls you are seeing are members of the Young Foresters Club, they are members of the Globe Club, they are members of the Climate Change Club. So already they are grounded in these skills. So they are more than excited for us to carry them to another level, because this is another level. You see, the wives of governors are role models. So who is a better role model to plant a tree than the wives of the governors? So if the wives of the governors can plant trees, we are very excited. They are planting trees for our girls. The girls are going to nurture these trees with all their heart, with all the excitement you can. And if they're graduating, they're handing it over.
Schoolgirls turned young foresters watch as each First Lady plants a tree, inspired to share in the unique experience of saving the environment.
Incoming is going to encourage us in a way because they're influential people. So when we see influential people doing this, also we'll be encouraged so that we'll do this, and it will give us like it will give us motivation to do it even when we are out of school, knowing the importance of trees also.
Warming can cause many diseases such as skin cancer, eye cataract, many diseases, and it makes discomfortability is also a disease. So with the planting of these trees, it helps to fight it. So really, I will really encourage my people, even people around me, to always plant trees.
The 19 Northern Governors' wives and Acrosol are confident that the Safe Environment Project will not only be a rallying point for the North, but the turning point for a healthier environment for food production and other human activities.
To the fight against corruption, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has handed over the sum of $22,000 recovered from a convicted internet fraudster, Hakeem Olariwaju, to the Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI. Justice Nicholas Owebo of the Federal High Court sitting in Ikoyi, Lagos, had on August the 15th, 2023, ordered that the money be returned to the victim in the United States of America. Mr. Olariwaju was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment for identity theft and impersonation. The acting director, Lagos Zonal Command of the EFCC, Mr. Michael Wekas, handed over the money to the FBI legal attaché, Mr. Charles Smith. In his response, Mr. Smith said the EFCC and FBI worked together and praised the commission for the recovery. Over to Edo State, where the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has met with stakeholders ahead of the voter registration exercise, which begins on Monday, May the 27th, and terminates on Wednesday, June the 5th. The voter registration is coming ahead of the governorship election, and the state resident electoral commissioner, Dr. Anubum Onoha, is warning that no voter cards will be collected by proxy. He encouraged those who just turned 18 to come out and get registered for voting. Those who missed the opportunity to do so during the last voter registration exercise.
The CVR exercise is proposed for 10 days to commence on the 27th May to 5th June 2024. This will enable prospective registrants enough time to register before the governorship election. Similarly, those who are registered voters also have the opportunity of transferring their registration from other states of the Federation to Edo or one location to another within the state. Also note that CVR is only open to new entrants and those who seek to transfer their registration. Persons who have registered as voters should not attempt to register again, as multiple registration is illegal. Lost or damaged cards, voters' card, will be replaced during this exercise.
Still ahead on the news at 10, the Naira drops to 2-month low ahead of the CBN MPC rate decision meeting as currency defies financial regulators' intervention this week. That's on Business News. Please join us again. Welcome back. Communities across 4 states of the Niger Delta have donated parcels of land to the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. The gesture is for the agricultural component of NDDC's Holistic Opportunities for Program and Engagement, otherwise known as Project Hope. Speaking at the NDDC headquarters in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, the Commission's Managing Director, Mr. Samuel Ubuku, explains that the exercise is preparatory to the commencement of the second phase of the program, expected to kick off in June.
Gathered here at the NDDC headquarters in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, are traditional rulers, community leaders, youths and women from Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Imo and River State, as well as directors and staff of the Commission.
Please may we rise as we receive the managing director of the Niger Delta.
The reason for the gathering is the official onboarding of communities in the Niger Delta who have donated hectares of land for the agricultural component of the NDDC Project Hope. Mr. Blessing Fubara, who is the creative director of the Project Hope of the NDDC, speaks on how the youths convince the traditional rulers and other stakeholders about the viability of the program.
They are here today, sir, because, in fact, 4 months ago, when we approached them, they had already accepted, not only accepted, also issued letters of seeding of 100 hectares each from their communities for project.
Launched 12 July 2023, the NDDC Project Hope, which is the flagship youth empowerment program of the Regional Development Agency, is expected to train and equip youths in their areas of competence.
Project Hope also means training our teaming youths. Project Hope means empowerment to the youths of the Niger Delta region. Project Hope is aimed at changing the toga of militancy to a more respectable toga of productivity.
For the managing director of the NDDC, part of the benefits of the agricultural component of the Project Hope is to bring life to the rural communities of the Niger Delta.
You have donated the land, you are in partnership with us. We are going to ensure that the manpower is going to be shared between we and you. And once the manpower is shared, the next thing is who is going to be the off-taker, who is going to buy those products. That is what we are going to arrange. So that is a partnership we are going in with you. You are going to get the maximum value of donating your land to us. The essence of this partnership is to ensure that you're not made spectators to development.
As a commitment of their buying into the Project Hope initiative, community leaders formally hand over hectares of land to the NDDC Managing Director.
We have earmarked 100 hectares of land, and we have also assured him of security.
When you look at our region, a lot of things that are very ugly happening every day. And I hope that with these kind initiatives, I think most of our youth will be engaged in one thing or the other.
With over 1 million youths registered for the program so far, the NDDC says the registration portal is still open as the second tranche of the program is expected to kick off next month.
Meanwhile, Governor Siminalayi Fubara has continued the commissioning of projects in River State. Today, it was the turn of Andoni local government area where an access road to the area that was awarded 23 years ago was finally inaugurated. While commissioning the road, Governor Fubara restated his dedication to executing impactful projects.
It's a historic moment in Andoni, a riverine local government area in River State, as the long-awaited Andoni section of the Ogoni-Andoni Okobo-Nkoro Unity Road is completed and ready for commissioning. The excitement of the people is evident in the array of cultural performances and speeches.
Your Excellency, this road could not have come at a better time than this. This is a time when Nigeria is talking about the blue economy. Where is the blue economy? The blue economy lies a few meters behind you, sir. The Atlantic Ocean, the rivers, the creeks, the rivulets. That is the blue economy. So this road project has opened us up to benefit from the blue economy. But it must come with its own infrastructure. So we want to appeal that we should not be forgotten in the infrastructures that will drive the blue economy.
This is the first time from this axis, the Opobo-Andoni axis. We used to be in one local government. So we are proud that God has chosen you. And I know those who are before you were also chosen by others. I don't want to mention names. But by the grace of God, you are our governor. And coming from this side of the riverine, entire riverine. I'm not given to tribal talks, but you are a German. I believe that your brothers across, first of all, will give you support. Whether they are in River State or outside River State, they will give you support. And I believe that all our brothers in the upland area, they will give you support. So be rest assured that you have 100% support for our people.
The Andoni section that is being commissioned measures 27.5 kilometers. It was constructed at the cost of 11 billion naira by the Fubara administration, and the governor promises to do more for the people.
It doesn't matter who started it. What is important is today, this section of the Unity Road that connects the Andoni to the entire local governments, which when I say the entire, the other two local governments, the Ogoni and the Opopo, has come to reality.
The road is commissioned by the governor to signal an official handover.
In the name of God the Father, God the Son, God the...
The completion of Ogoni Andoni Okpobo Nkoro Unity Road is expected to enhance the aquaculture and tourism potential of Andoni local government area.
In Taraba State, Governor Abu Kefa says his administration is committed to enshrine a new dawn for peace and inclusive future, as well as protect and create a conducive environment where every citizen will have a sense of belonging. The governor said this at the reception to honor the new chief of Takum. Governor Abu is promising that his action will be guided by the rule of law and shared prosperity.
It's the grand reception for the first-class chief of Takum, His Royal Highness Sophia Boshi III. He's occupying the seat after 28 years of vacancy due to conflicting interest among the three ruling tribes of Kuteb, Jukun and Chamba over who should occupy the position. Dignitaries including the former Defense Minister General Theophilus Danjuma, Governor Abu Kefas of Taraba State, Governor Caleb Muftuang of Plateau State are among those in attendance.
And his love for all people, irrespective of their tribe and religion.
The struggle for the throne made Governor Abu Kefas create 3 third-class chiefdoms and 1 rotational first-class chiefdom to settle the age-long conflict. While the Jukun and Chamba tribes accepted the decision of the state government, the Kuteb tribe rejected the proposal and resorted to legal redress. The step prompted the governor to inaugurate and present staff of office to His Royal Highness Sophia Boshi of Chamba clan as the first-class chief of Takum.
The installation of the chief of Takum marks a significant milestone, and it is with great pride and hope that I stand before you to commemorate this event.
Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State was the special guest of honor, and his colleague, the governor of Plateau State, as well as former governors of Taraba and Plateau State, salute the governor's doggedness in breaking the jinx.
The way the issues have been resolved that has led us to this event today, I have no doubt whatsoever that today marks the new beginning of progress, of prosperity for Takum land.
By the grace of the Almighty God, this will be the end of this kind of thing happening, that a chief is no more and it takes so many years to get a replacement.
The former defense minister emphasizes the need to obey the rule of law and urges the new chief of Takum to unite Takum residents. He promises to open a vocational school in collaboration with the German government to curb unemployment in the state.
You know, the Germans are not a nonsense group of people. They are very serious people. So, this is where we want to go. Our universities
do not have people, professionals who can give guidance as to what to study. So please take advantage of what I shall be offering you.
Meanwhile, the Emir of Muri, Abbas Tafida, while welcoming and absorbing the new traditional ruler to their fold, urges him to fight injustice and be fair in the discharge of his duties as a new chief promises to foster peace and development devoid of tribal or religious sentiments.
You are welcome into the family, and I want to tell you and the whole of people of Taraba that the family of the chiefs of Taraba will stand for two things. One, we stand for change and progress. And two, we stand for cleanness of heart.
I want us to join hands and build our home. We have no any other place except Takum.
The installation of the new chief of Takum is greeted with traditional dances as the people expect the new leadership to usher in a new phase of leadership and foster development for the community.
Time to find out what's happening in the world of business. Laddie Williams has all the details.
Thanks, Melinda. Well, in business news, Nigeria's currency, that's the Naira, is currently at a two-month low at both the official window at the foreign exchange market as well as the parallel FX market, just 2 days before the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee begins its third two-day rates decision meeting for the year. And this comes after the 5-3 series of interventions carried out by the financial markets regulator at the FX market this week, with a total FX sale of around $211 million. Amid its continued efforts to improve liquidity. So far, the local currency is down by 2.1%, week on week to 1,497 Naira 33 kobo against the dollar at the Nigerian foreign exchange market, and depreciated by 2.07% at 1,466 Naira 31 kobo against the dollar at the Nigerian autonomous foreign exchange fixing, while it dropped to 1,533 Naira at the parallel market. Before now, the Naira had its lowest value on Thursday, where it closed the day at 1,533 Naira at the NFM, a level last seen on March the 20th this year. Meanwhile, foreign exchange trading at the FMDQ exchange closed positive this week as the total turnover of the Forex transactions carried out rose by 70% week on week to $1.35 billion as of May the 17th. The increase in the total turnover, which comes despite the 42% drop in FX derivatives turnover, was solely driven by more than 73% increase in turnover recorded in the FX spot segment. Meanwhile, there was continued lack of activity in both the exchange-traded FX futures and cleared Naira-settled non-deliverable forwards market. And the federal government and the African Union Inter-African Bureau for Animal Resources, Resilient African Feed and Further Systems project have established a multi-stakeholder platform to provide producers with easy access to high-quality animal feed at competitive prices. According to a release from the Ministry of State for Agriculture, the food security, the RAFSA project is an initiative responding to the CCC crisis of COVID-19, climate change shocks, and the Russia-Ukraine conflict that has severely impacted African feed and fodder systems. It stated that the project would not only facilitate access to feed for producers, but will also create an integrated self-sufficiency system that promotes fair competition among suppliers. They stated that the project is aimed to understand the effects of those crises and provide evidence-driven, short-term solutions to build resilience in the livestock industry. All right, let's bring you some of the key expectations for Nigeria's financial market in the coming week. First on the list, all eyes on Nigeria's Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee, which is expected to hold its third two-day rates decision meeting for 2024 on Monday, May the 20th, and Tuesday, May the 21st. The bonds market, traders expect yields to remain elevated, driven by anticipated
domestic and global monetary policy administration, as well as sustained imbalance in demand and supply. For the Treasury bills market, sustained demand is anticipated by traders amid expected liquidity in the system. At the same time, the central bank is scheduled to roll over 508 billion naira maturing bills at its NTB primary market auction on Wednesday, May the 22nd. At the money market, the overnight rate is projected to trend downward in anticipation of 817 billion naira inflow from FAC distribution to the 3 tiers of government, which is expected to support financial system liquidity. Finally, at the equities market, cautious trading is expected as traders focus their attention on the outcome of the CBN MPC meeting for further clarity on yield movements in the fixed income market. And outside our shores, Chinese EV maker Xpeng says it aims to deliver its first flying car to customers in 2026. Xpeng mentioned that the flying car is currently going through a certification process with the Chinese aviation regulator. The 2026 timeline is slightly later than the fourth quarter 2025 delivery target that Xpeng had previously touted. Last year, the company introduced the land aircraft carrier, a larger truck with a flying 2-seater passenger electric drone side. And that's it on business news. Back to Melinda with the rest of News at 10.
Top seed Iga Swiatek defeated Ariana Sabalenka 6-2, 6-3 to win the Italian Open title in Rome. Swiatek needed just an hour and 29 minutes to beat her opponent for the 8th time in their 11 meetings. The Polish star has won in Rome in 3 of the last 4 years, also taking the WTA 1000 title in 2021 and 2022. Now let's head to the ring now, where Tyson Fury faces Alexander Usyk in the first undisputed heavyweight fight for a generation later today, with bad blood boiling after a heated clash at the weigh-in. The two undefeated fighters had previously been respectful in their comments, but tempered flared on Friday as Britain's Fury shoved Usyk and swore angrily at the Ukrainian. It adds extra spice to the classic encounter at Riyadh's Kingdom Arena, the first undisputed heavyweight bout since 1999, with the winner taking all 4 major belts. Manchester City's Phil Foden has been named the Premier League's Player of the Season. This announcement means the 23-year-old English midfielder completed an awards double after being voted Footballer of the Year by the English Football Writers Association earlier this month. Phil has scored a career-best 17 Premier League goals so far this season, ahead of the Champions City's final league game of the campaign. Brighton and Hove Albion have confirmed that manager Roberto De Zerbi will leave the club at the end of the season. Roberto has served on the South Coast since taking over from Graham Potter, leading the club into the Europa League after a memorable 2023-2024 campaign. He has been linked to a number of top jobs in recent months, most notably former German champions Bayern Munich, as well as Italian giants Napoli, AC Milan, and Juventus. Indiana Pacers produced another big win on their home court, beating the New York Knicks 116-103 to force a decisive Game 7 in their NBA Eastern Conference semifinal series. Pascal Siakam scored 25 points to lead Indiana's scoring. Tyrese Haliburton added 15 with 9 assists, and Miles Turner had 17 points as 6 Pacers players scored in double figures. On the brink of elimination after an embarrassing Game 5 defeat in New York, the Pacers played with desperate aggression, outscoring the Knicks 62-38 in the paint and winning the rebounding battle.
No, it feels good. I mean, obviously being part of the team feels like a while now, but yeah, just happy to be here. The support from everyone. Obviously, after the game we had, just wanted to respond as a team, and I thought we did that well tonight. And yeah, no, like I'm happy to be part of this team, and just want to keep going, and hopefully we get a win on Sunday.
World champion Max Verstappen will start Sunday's Emilia Romagna Grand Prix on pole in his Red Bull after shading Oscar Pistorius McLaren in qualifying. Verstappen was extending his perfect run of pole in every race this season ahead of the 7th round of the Formula One World Championship. McLaren's Lando Norris, who won the last time out in Miami, posted the 3rd best time to fill the 2nd role. The international scene, at least 50 people are dead after flash floods brought on by heavy rains in central Afghanistan. Dozens of others are missing, some believed to have fled to higher ground minutes before the flood hit. Thousands of cattle and about 2,000 houses have also been destroyed in the flood, while most roads leading to the provisional capital have been cut off. United Nations agencies are warning that the death toll may rise as rescue efforts have been severely hampered without access to the affected areas. Climate analysts say Afghanistan is one of the least prepared countries to tackle the impact of climate change. Protesters from local communities and environmental groups marched through the streets of Bloemfontein, the judicial capital of South Africa, against oil giant Shell. They are asking for offshore oil and gas exploration to be phased out in favor of transition to renewable energy sources. Shell was at the Supreme Court presenting an appeal against the 2022 High Court judgment to freeze offshore oil and gas exploration activities on South Africa's Wild Coast based on claims brought by the locals. The court had ruled that there had been no meaningful consultation with the local community over plans to launch exploratory drilling off the Virgin Wild Coast in 2021.
We are saying to the government, Montage, you must do away with these licenses because these people, they are exploiting our people. We don't want Shell in our mining, in our communities. You must go and you must put our people first because, you know, these companies, they are putting profit before the people. So we want you, Minister, to revoke all this license of these mining companies.
We're quite confident about the case because the appeal was granted because it's a matter of public interest, not because the judge saw prospects of success. We're also confident because if they were to overturn this case, it would be constitutionally regressive because the judgment was really powerful and really aligned to South Africa's constitution.
Find ourselves that this company want to keep on bullying and keep on persisting an onslaught of oil and gas activities in our waters. Seismic surveys is an explosive, is a violent, destructive activity that will destroy our oceans. It will destroy our marine life. Can you imagine 250 decibels every 6 seconds up and down the ocean for 5 to 6 months in our ocean? We cannot tolerate that. We will not tolerate that. We will not allow that. And that is why we are here to raise our voices. That is why we are here to tell companies like Shell to go somewhere else, to go not on this planet, not here, not anywhere with their oil and gas activities.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russia could increase its attacks in the northeast part of his country following its recent gains near the city of Kharkiv. Russian troops have been trying to push forward as Ukraine's Afghan forces attempt to shore up a weakened front line. Mr. Zelensky admitted that there were issues with military staffing and morale, saying a number of existing brigades were empty. And the main news again. Talks about resumption of oil exploration in Ogoni land in River State today triggered protests as the youth wing of the Movement for the Survival of Ogoni People demanded that due process must be followed. Vice President Kashim Shettima has challenged governors of states in the northeast to work together and fast-track the development of the area. Meanwhile, the Northern Governors Forum has condemned perceived neglect of the region in infrastructure development. That's the news at 10 tonight. I'm Melinda Kimani. On behalf of the team, good night.